Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a good day today. I know y'all probably been waiting on this video to talk to y'all about my wedding. So I have notes on my computer, right here you see them, that I'm gonna be going by, so if you see me looking back and forth, it's because of that. This video, there's gonna be a lot of pictures added in so y'all can see, the funniest part, and it's something me and my mom talk about a lot. It's the fact that we remember when there was still 408 days when I had done my first engagement party in town with my family and friends. And it was 408. And then when it got to 100, and then 80, and 60, and 20, and 10, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's getting so close. And it was the day before, and before I knew it, it was just there. It was there. It was the day of. And I could not believe how quick it got here. And I remember the whole week before, I was just ready to rip my head off because it just felt like there was constantly something. There was always something that, it needed to be done, or there was something else extra that needed to be done. And it was crazy about how much stuff still had. It just felt like there was so much to still do, and there was only a week, And the night before, me and Cory have lived together for almost as long as we've been together. And I'm so used to him sleeping with me at night, and the night before they wanted to do the traditional thing where you're not with your partner, your partner's separate from you, you don't see him until I actually walk down the aisle, and it was hard for me because I'm so used to seeing him every single day and going to bed with him and waking up to him, and I didn't get to have that. If it wasn't for Richard and my bridesmaid, Stephanie, I probably would have been in the fetal position screaming because I was so nervous. And you never would have thought after 5.5 years of being together that you would still be nervous about walking down the aisle, right? Well, you are. Okay? And I just remember every 15 minutes going outside because I needed some fresh air. I couldn't handle it. I needed something to keep my mind off of it. And when I ever actually finally tried to go to sleep, it was nearly impossible. I was tossing and turning for hours because I was so nervous. And when I finally fell asleep, it felt like I only slept for 5 seconds, and I woke up and it was the next day. And I remember trying so hard to make it to work because we were all in the same hotel. So, and Cory's room was right across the hall from mine because we had a little mix up about hotels because they were supposed to actually, all the groomsmen were supposed to be at another hotel actually. But he ended up being right across the hall from my room, so I couldn't leave my room until after he was back in his room, or we couldn't. No one wanted us to see each other at all. Okay, so I had to sit there and wait, and then there was a chance I almost saw him, but he saw the back of my head, and we still didn't count it because it was like you didn't see each other's faces, so it's okay. There was just so many things were going on that day. It was kind of hard to, keep it right. I mean, there was going to be little mistakes here and there, right? So we ended up going to the venue, and we had to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning because the venue place that we had, you only can decorate the day of. You don't have the day before to decorate. So we had to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning to decorate the venue. And they didn't let me help. I had to sit there and just wait, and sitting there and just waiting was just so nerve-wracking, and to not be able to go and see it, but having people walking in and out of the room, and it was like every time someone came in, it was just like you could tell that it was like they were frantic, they trying so hard to get everything together, and I just felt like, man, I wish I could help them. I wish that I could go out and help them some, and all I could do was sit there and just stare at my phone, or I actually would go outside and sit outside. In the place that we were at had a porch that went around the whole building, right? And whenever I went outside that first time and saw, because it was the ceremony area was right there, so I could see the ceremony area. That's the only thing I could see. And I remember all the chairs were sitting out. They had the archway done. They had the little sunflower bouquets tied to the chairs, and had the lace fabric on the chairs. I remember looking at it and seeing the beautiful red and the orange and the brown leaves in the trees, because it was during the fall. It was November. This past year was November 24th, and being able to see the fall look, which I love fall, so being able to have those red trees and red leaves and orange leaves and all that just made it so much more beautiful. And I could not get over how pretty it looked. And that's one thing I kept telling everybody. It's like, man, it looks so beautiful. Oh man, I'm so lucky to have this place. That's where I'm getting married. Because this is only happening once. And I would go outside like every 30 minutes and I couldn't resist seeing it because it was so beautiful. Whenever we were at the venue, my poor old heart was pounding so fast. I had almost everyone because we had a whole group of people that went up to the venue with us to help with decorating. And I had everybody touching, like hearing my chest. Like they put their ear up to my chest and listened. And they said my heart was going so fast. They thought it was about to explode because that's how nervous I was, okay? And I could just feel my heart was just, you know, because I was so anxious and nervous, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's actually happening, you know. And every time I was outside, one of the groomsmen would come around to where I was, and they would say that Cory's over there, and they were trying to make sure we didn't see each other. And one time, it was probably about an hour or two right before the ceremony was supposed to start, I remember I was sitting there, and I was like, can I just see him just one time, just for 2 seconds, please? I just need to see him and tell him I love him. That's it. And they like, I had gotten up like I was gonna go, and everybody was like, no. They were like standing up, like, no, you cannot go see him. I'm like, please, I just need to see him for 2 seconds. If you just let me tell him I love him, I'll be fine. But it's just, they wouldn't let me. And just knowing that he was literally like on the other side of the building, just sitting there like I was, it just made it so much. It was so nerve-wracking, knowing that I couldn't actually see. The last few hours before the wedding was crazy because my mom, she had to go back to the hotel to get ready. And I was waiting for her because I wanted her to be able to stitch me up because I wore a corset dress. And my poor mom, she was running around like a chicken with her head cut off because she was trying so hard to make everything the way I was wanting it. And by the time she was finally able to go and get ready, she only had like an hour and a half. And she was like, I'm gonna hurry up and go over there. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll come back and we'll get all ready and everything. I'll be quick, I promise. And it was like the last like 45 minutes before we were supposed to walk. She finally showed back up. And so she hadn't gotten her makeup done yet, or her hair wasn't done yet. I still had to put my dress on. And everybody from this that was supposed to be guests from the wedding were trying to come in and wanted to say hi to me and my mom. And my mom, she was just like trying so hard to stitch me up and get me ready. And then Cory's mom, she's a hairstylist, so she does hair and everything. And then she has a friend that he did my makeup, and he was being willing to do my mom's. So as she was getting her hair fixed, this guy was doing her makeup too. And I mean, everybody kept trying to come in and see us. My mom finally was just like, everybody, whoever isn't part of the wedding party, please get out now. Because everybody, we were already like crazy. I mean, I had just gotten done getting my dress on. I really wanted to get some pictures of me and the girls before the ceremony. That didn't happen. So it was like, it was literally like 4:30 and my mom was still getting her makeup done and her hair done. So I'm like, okay, now we're late. So it's like we ended up being 15 minutes late actually walking out. But I gotta tell you, whenever they said that they were ready for me to walk, and me and the girls started getting ready, we were lining up, right? And I was standing there with my mom, and I remember I just kept telling my mom, I'm so nervous. Because I kept, like, throughout the whole day, that's another thing I didn't say. Throughout the whole day, I kept having little moments where I was crying, okay? Because I was so emotional, okay? And Richard, he kept having to come up to me and he'd touch his arms right here on my shoulders. He'd be like, it's okay, Tay. It's okay, Tay. It's all right, Taylor. You remember? He's gonna be right there. When you see him, you'll be fine. I have a picture of me and him like that. I'll have to put that in there so y'all can see. He kept doing, I'd have my eyes up at the ceiling and I'd just be like, Richie, I'm gonna mess up my makeup. Like, that's all I kept thinking of, is I'm gonna mess up my makeup, which I don't understand why that was my main concern. But I just kept thinking, I'm gonna mess up my makeup. And just thinking about it now is making my eyes water. I just remember though, standing there with my mom, getting ready to walk, and all I kept thinking is, oh my gosh, I'm about to do nervous. I'm about to walk out there with all them people out there. And I kept saying, Mom, I'm so nervous. And she's like, it's okay, sweetie. And as we were, right after the last girl walked, and we were about to walk, and we had to go out the side building, right out the side. And I remember standing at that door where no one could see us yet. It was just me and my mom right there. The guy that was kind of help everybody go at the right time was standing right there too. And he's like, you ready? And I was like, no. I was like, no, I'm not, because I know I'm going to be a wreck when I walk down that aisle. And my mom was like, this is the last time I can call you Taylor Crawler. Now you're going to be Taylor Parky. And I'm like, I know. And it was like her telling me that made me even more emotional. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And right when I went around, I finally came out and I was standing there waiting. And I could see everybody, and everybody was looking over in my direction, so I was about to walk. And then my song started. And if you don't already know, the song I walked down the aisle to was my song that my dad had sang to my mom. And it was recorded, so I used the recording of him singing, so I made it even more meaningful. It was like my dad was there with me. And as I'm walking, all I kept hoping is I wouldn't trip over something. That's all I kept thinking is I hope I don't trip on my dress. I hope I don't trip on invisible stuff, you know. And as I'm walking, I was going down the bridge, and I had looked over and I could see Cory. And Cory, like the moment I saw him, everything else disappeared. My nervousness, all my emotions, apart from just being so happy because he was right there looking at me, just with this big old smile on his face. And I don't remember what anyone else looked like. I don't remember what Richard looked like, I don't remember looking at that. I looked at my mom one time for a second because she said her shoe was about to fall off and she needed to fix it. So she fixed her shoe, but apart from that, that's the only thing. All I remember is looking at Cory and looking at the pastor whenever he was doing the ceremony. That's the only thing I remember. I don't remember anybody else. And whenever I saw him, though, that just made it amazing. It was amazing. I couldn't get over it. I wasn't nervous after I saw him. I was happy. I said my vows perfectly. He cried. And that's one thing, when he sees this, he's going to laugh because I said it. He cried. Everybody that knows who Cory is, knows Cory is not a very emotional person. And he actually cried his eyes out. And I'll put a lot of pictures in here for y'all to see, I promise. But the rest of the night went by really quick. I mean, we did the walking in, and we did the walk where we were dancing around the tables and trying to get everybody up and dancing. And me and Cory did our first dance with the song "Perfect" from Ed Sheeran. That's like our song, and it was great. I mean, it was the best night of my life, and getting to have all the people that were there, they all mean the world to me. So I was happy that they all got to be there with us, and it's something I'll never forget. The rest of the night went by as quick as you could possibly think it did, and I got to talk to a lot of people that I hadn't gotten to see in a while because Cory's family doesn't live where we live right now. So I got to talk to a lot of people and got to spend time with a lot of people. It was nice. It was really nice. This could be the best day of my life. I'll never forget that day. And I know it's the same for Cory because Cory can't stop thinking about it either. He brings it up all the time. Anytime I play any of those songs, he bawls. Big baby. But that's my wedding story, guys. The best day of my life. I love you guys. See you later. Hi, motorcycle. Bye.